welcome back to another episode, second episode of What if World War III was fought normally, like a normal war without nukes and conventionally. Let's check. You know what? I can do this. So basically, sorry if I had to cut the last episode. It was just because it reached 16 minutes, which small creators like me, YouTube doesn't allow make big videos. So yeah. So here's the context. Basically, the East Germans push through and enter France, while West Germany is in threat. Greece and Turkey falls, while also the threat of Norway and Sweden also falls. Finland joining a little bit too late. Switzerland reviving though. So the the Germans, exhausted Germans, attempt to do a massive push, crossing the Polish one more time and taking Berlin in the process. And they attempt to do two things. They took Warsaw and attempt to cut the German lines in half, but due to a part after the destruction of Austria, their temptation of cutting the German lines in half has failed due to the German lines being too chunky thick. Allied forces managed to liberate some parts of the Spaghetti people and managed to push back the Russians a little bit back away from this stuff. This island got liberated from the Allies. Oh, why is that there? The Russians are now with a new threat in the Nordic section, now fearing that they might be cut in half, and they were gosh darn right. Oh no, they were wrong. The Russians fought profusely, crossing in, but half their forces were tired and exhausted. But they were extremely tired. I just noticed that Albania is actually withdrawal. Let's say Albania joined again. But even though Russian forces managed to take a little bit of land, they've been crushed back and pushed back, getting cut in half. But now their front lines being crushed. Now the Russians, now fearing that their northern army would fall apart, but they won't. And also, all their army units in the north, being used to mountain fighting, attempt their hardest to fight back, but no successful attempts. The Finnish managing to cut half the Russians, now being assisted by US and also Canadians, French, Italians, and many others. The Russians now taking back many other cities, and now Berlin, with now West Germany being threatened to be cut in half. Now that's really sad. And now German forces attempt to blitzkrieg their way back, but they decide to trick the French again, making the French believe that actually the Germans would be going here, and making the French think that the Germans will be going this river line or Paris. The Germans actually cut off to a little offensive, a little bit too big. And now with the French forces exhausted, the Germans and the Russians and the other sides grab their units in the back, and next after that managed to cut half the Dutch forces and secure another flank. But in the south is not doing a little bit too well. Their landing force has been crushed by NATO forces, and now for the first time Iceland has actually made an actual army. And of course, hey, now much better. Ba 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 ba. Okay. Sorry, that was funny joke. Laugh. So now the war getting even more disgusting. um, I'm sorry if the map is really low quality. It's just because I just found this off Google. So yeah. But now with West Germany being completely cut in half, the West Germans are now thinking to themselves, "Hey, are we losing? I'm pretty sure we're losing right now." But they still attempt to fight for their land. But the German forces now being cut in half, their only help from is with the Dutch and the North Germans. Only reinforcements coming from the French and Swede and Nordic forces. Russians attempt to push to Stockholm but fail. Instead, they gain a little bit of ground as Nordic forces push through, attempting to cut off and encircle the Russian forces as they fell horribly. Instead, them getting cut in half instead. As now, fighting even grows even worse. The air battle in the sky grows even disgusting. Let's try the layers out. Okay, now let's use this one. Oh god. Now let's make a new layer. Now this layer is gonna be the layer of the sky. Now this is where the stuff really goes big. Let's show you the situation in the sky. The sky. The sky. God, that's a little bit too big. Okay, let's lower this bad boy down. I'm just trying to make like this cool. And then, okay, now finally. And this side, the Russians own complete air superiority over their homeland, of course. Completely owning air superiority over here. But in this scenario, well, the Allies battle and here and here. So yeah, this is the air superiority map. As you can see, it's pretty normal except for this part. So now let's go to the other part. That is I'll remove every one of this and get back. There we go. Hey yo, oh, there's still. Okay, now we're back to this layer. Of course, Russians own the Baltic Sea, the Black Sea, but they're fighting brutally in this part, of course. With the Allies, with NATO forces attempting to regain. Oh God, no, that's the wrong one. Oh God, why is it so fast? As NATO forces attempt to push through and regain land, and help the forces in the Nordic in the north, but fail horribly. German forces attempting to push forward to attempt to push forward, but only getting stopped at the Czech Republic. I don't know what am I doing anymore. What is this? As they stopped, but instead they got stopped by the Czech Republic forces. So here's the estimated casualty count of the day. So let's estimate. I could just. So the estimated casualty count, but due to part, the immense fighting over here, I would like to say 10 million. I mean, around 8 million to 20 million to 10 million, or around 1 million, or just 2 million. I like to say 8 million because I think that's the most realistic. I just say that, or 10 million. As now Russian forces push through and taking this, now the Russian taking out the encircled units. The Russians still attempting to take back Finnish land. Take Finnish land, wanting to cut them off, but failing and getting pushed back. As Russians attempt to even push a little bit more, they get more chokes land and lose ground. That as Russian soldiers in the Finnish front lose hope, a good hope came appear as a Russian offensive cut off, and now successfully North forces are now getting supplies. But the Finnish are still a problem. But after heavy bombing runs and immense fighting and brutal fighting, but after Helsinki was taken, just kidding, they pushed them back. The Russian forces sued for peace with the Finnish, and the Finnish now leaving the war. But the Finnish forces are allowed to keep the land they took. Now the Finnish. I'm sorry if this is too big, but you can bully me. You know what? You can bully me. Yeah, there we go. As now the Finnish, but now the Finnish thought to continue the war even further, accepts it because they, guess what, are a complete utter destructive wasteland filled with mines and everything. But the Russians get to keep this part though to help in the war effort. Russian forces push through even deeper now, getting in the Russians with the heavy mounted fighting take Stockholm in the process. Oh no, Stockholm. With Nordic forces managing to cut off do an offensive and cutting off the enemy forces in Stockholm. But they're still getting supplies, and now Operation Double Lubba is made, and now with that they have taken several islands in Russian hands, successfully blocking and stopping all supplies from Russia, making this encircled unit screwed. Now French forces pushing back the Germans very fast number. Now with the German forces pushing and crushing the enemy North Germans, successfully putting them out of the game. Now with the North Germans gone, now the Danish forces being completely screwed. The Danish has lost their homeland and everything, making it that now Norway has only. Now the Nordic forces now have to heavily rely on allied. Sorry for that, I accidentally blocked the thing. So here's some word context. This complete mess. They did block this after the battle of Bulge, the now Allied forces has managed to secure a front line and around front line around this area, because the Germans also winning the Battle of Amsterdam. I mean, but with heavy losses. But it's still a GG. With airstrikes in the sky, with now this monstrosity of a map, Italian forces has been pushed out of Austria. But now invasion, now with the invasion, now with a group ready to invade. It's the end of the video. Sorry, bye bye.